Alright. So, hello everybody. How my name is William. Well, I got some proposition. Okay. And now, today I got some propositions to talk about. So, Carl DeMille from Reform, California, he made some two propositions. 39, which is, voter ID. And then also 43, which will stop tax hikes. Now, I know that now these two are on the ballot for November. The other ballot in November as well is also Prop 40, which is billionaire tax. I'll get to that in a different video as well. I'll get into Prop 43, stop tax hikes in another video too. But today I want to talk about Prop 39, which is voter ID initiative. Now, voter ID, if you want to know, and there's also the federal version of it, if you want to know. And I want to talk about, and I'm talking about the Save America Act. If I could pull it out. You can read about the Save America Act right here. So, but I need to go to the bathroom, guys. I'll be right back. Then I'll go back and talk about the voter ID initiative, which is Prop 39 anyway. That's made by this. Right here. We'll be right back, guys. Alright guys, I'm back from the bathroom, and now, alright. So what does Prop 39 do? Well, number one, photo ID to vote, and then also verification of citizenship. That's what, alright, those are the two things that Prop 39 will do. Okay? The California Voter ID Initiative is the name of Prop 39. And you can see right here, many people strongly agree to it. Only a small amount of people will disagree to it, so that's why. But And now Carter Mile is saying that the call for Attorney General right now, Rob Bonta, is trying to rig folder ID. Let me see. Let me Google that. See? So what does folder ID do? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so they're trying to defeat it, that's why. You can read that here. But also, so folder ID will require voters to show their ID every time they vote. But now, I'll let you read these, but I don't. Here, it says folder ID ballot title change. Republicans accuse Rob Bonta of rigging the election. Yeah, I know. It happens. You know. But you have to tell your friends and neighbors. Well, the best you can do is tell your friends and neighbors to vote yes on Property 9 folder ID. Yes. Just tell your neighbor, tell your friends and neighbor, and tell your friends and tell your neighbors, and maybe tell your relatives too, to vote yes on Property 9 for folder ID. So, well, that is why, if Rob Bonta is trying to rig folder ID initiative, well, what's the best he can do for that? Well, the best he can do is vote for Michael Gates for California Attorney General. That's why. Well, Michael Gates will defend the folder ID initiative if he wins this November. I don't know that he will win this November because I don't know the future anymore. I'm talking about what he will do if he does. Okay, I'm talking about Michael Gates. Okay, Michael Gates is running for Attorney General, is a Republican, and he will defend folder ID. Here's why. Yeah, why will if he wins the election? Right here. Okay, so I'm on the Brave browser. All right. So Michael Gates will defend and enforce voter ID laws if elected Attorney General because he refused the strict identification requirements for digital election, safeguarding vote against fraud. See? So the core platform for Michael Gates. So for core Gates has been supporting voter ID central pillar and against the campaign, arguing the censors and restores public confidence of the story system. Now, past persistent. As Attorney Beach City Attorney, he succeeded defended his city's local voter ID law against challenges from the state in establishing a legal record for prioritizing identification requirements. Now, should you believe? Gates believes that enforcing these laws aligns with a broader conservative agenda to prevent perceived irregulations and suggests that voter ID can mobilize conservative orders and future elections. So, that is why. If you're going to be voting yes on February 9, then vote for Michael Gates for Attorney General. And also, you might have to vote for Steve Hilton for California Governor as well. Yeah, that's what you have to do, really. If you want voter ID, it's all up to you to vote. Now, I know it's all up to you, but it's up to you. So I'm telling you if you want voter ID. I'm not talking about the people that don't want voter ID because, I'm not talking people that don't want voter ID. If you don't want voter ID, then what's the point of you watching this video anyway? It's up to you, and then plus it's all up to you if you want to vote for voter ID or not. But not only that, there's also a federal version of this. There's also a federal bill version of this proposition. I'm talking about the Save America Act. Now, the Save America Act, it got introduced on January of this year. It hasn't passed the House yet. Now, I know that Donald Trump wants to pass this bill and get this bill signed into law very soon. But it looks like this bill won't become law this year. Maybe next year, hopefully, it might become law. The Save America Act. So let's read about the Save America Act. Just right here, this bill will require top country to prove U.S. citizenship registered to vote, and it also requires voter identification to vote in federal elections. So, now, many people believe it will ban mail-in ballots. Really? Does it say that right here? Or do I have to look at the text to find out? To see if it says it will ban mail-in ballots. Let me take a look in here. The text is too long for me to read, but you can see it right here. You can read the whole text to yourself here about the Save America Act. So, once we get further, and I'll try to Google it to see if the Save America Act will ban mail-in ballots, because that's what people are telling me anyway. This way, the city bill states accepting proposition of application, register to vote, and federal election unless it says I'm going to approve as citizenship. This besides the documents consider U.S. citizenship, and it says education companies real ID in 2005, and it indicates U.S. citizenship. Further, the bill prohibits the states register to vote and for ID for federal election unless it register to vote, and you can vote U.S. citizenship too. Only U.S. citizenship. Each state must have various steps on ongoing basis. Only U.S. citizens are registered to vote. Which states include submission program to invite individuals residents using on information applied certain forces. Citizens on forces. Now the bill is provided right of the center violations too of certain offenses. Individuals voting on most voter identification document, but those who vote submit a ballot send a copy of an identification document and both register for the submission and simply valid. So that's what it is. The Save America Act. It will be a federal ID. It will be a folder ID in all 50 states, but it will be only for federal elections, not state elections. Okay. Folder ID, which is Prop 9, will be for state elections. The Save America Act will be for federal elections. Yes, and the next federal election for the U.S. is the year 2028. Yeah, and I know that Gavin Newsom wants to become president of the U.S. And I'm not even look, I'm not going to be voting for him anyway, because he's just a lot. First of all, well, Gavin Newsom is just a lousy governor. Yeah, he ruined California. So, yeah, I hate Gavin Newsom. Yeah, I'm not going to be voting for him for president. I'll probably going to be voting for the Republican against him anyway. Okay, and there's also other countries that have voter ID, like India and Brazil. They're tied to voter ID metric database, while the U.S. is already relies on self-attestation for citizenship. And right here it says Germany and Canada require paper ballots to votes, while the U.S. lacks on city chains. Denmark and Sweden limit mailing those about the vote in person, and late arrivals don't count. Okay, as it does now, voting by mail after election day. Alright, so let's find out the 6 things the Save America Act will do. So number 1, citizenship will be already a requirement to vote. Citizens of non-citizens voting are rare. And now many individual citizens don't have access to document proof of citizenship. There are better ways to verify citizenship, to put the responsibility on government, not voters. The Save America Act could have intended consequences. Extra voters for administration, and then Save America require voters ID documents. Yeah, it's the only place, and the resources implemented well. Yeah, well, because the Save America Act will require an ID to vote. That's why. It will require your voter ID, photo ID to vote. That's why. Oh yeah, and I'm trying to do something on Movie Maker right now. Well, it's my game for Unreal. That's what I'm trying to merge on my Windows Movie Maker anyway. All right. Now, many people told me that Save America Act will ban mail-in ballots. I don't know if that's true. Let me Google that because I don't see it anywhere on the text, on the summary for the Save America Act. So, does Save America Act ban mail-in voting? Okay, yeah, this is why parents don't want to register vote plus voter ID at the polls. The odds through November are slim. I know, but that's not what I want to know. Well, I want to know about the Save America Act. Does it ban mail-in voting? Let me see. Does it? Because I don't know the answer. Okay, so we got. Okay, so you guys are wrong about that. Okay, looks like you're wrong about this. The answer is no. The Save America Act does not ban mail-in voting. Alright? Is this right here? While President Donald Trump has claimed that the administration will eliminate crooked mail-in ballots except for specific exceptions, the bill has been House Representatives in February of 2026 and is not, and since it's offering mail voting options. The system of mail voting. The system process of the requires of the government issue voter ID and photo ID in terms of registering of the available ballots. These additional requirements could make the requirements more difficult, burdensome, and for voters, stabilities of rural areas. But mail-in voting remains available for voters and meet these requirements. And proposals of the event a proposal of Make Elections Great Again Act. And revisions of the vaccine and universal mail-in voting require voters to identity request for every election. Additionally, amendment of the Senate of the Senate of the voting exceptions, including a division of the Save America Act that passed the House. Okay, so right here. So I got, so no, H.R. 7296, the Save America Act, does not ban mail voting. While it distinguishes requirements, is not permitted for the casting ballots by mail. Registration of voters distinction. See, the registration of voters, registration of document proof of citizenship in person, and limits registration of mail online. And administrative of excuse of the current of the text of HR of the HRC 296. If any confusion of proposals, calls to be made voting conflict of the 6 of the Make Elections Great Again, or the Make Act. And the demands are made by President Donald Trump and Pennsylvania ballots for the method of illness British services. Speaker Johnson has also used a bill, and the minister is focused on HR 7296. And also, so the answer, yeah. Does the Save America Act ban mail voting? The answer is no, it doesn't. So here, the text of it does not contain formal direct ban mail voting. The proof of citizenship, see, so it mandates individuals that are going to prove the U.S. citizenship, a birth certificate or passport, it is just updating the registration of voting in federal elections. So you will require your ID to vote in federal elections. Now, registration impact. While it does not allow mail-in ballots according to policy, as a vote registered person, a fiscal policy of citizenship documents of mail-in vote registration of fact entity are my convenience, registering by mail. So, proposing engines, although there's some printing fingers border of the party that's a Mega Act, it's I have seen a strict mail voting, but I see mail bans is not part of HR. 7296, and then says okay, and the bonus of this alliance push and minister did mail voting during debates, but according to refuses to responsibility of their citizenship or the blanket ban of voting by mail. So the answer is no, it does not ban mail-in voting. I don't know why you think, I don't know why you guys believe that. First of all. And one guy blocked me. See, and I have this right here. This guy blocked me. I think he's call me a bot. I'm a human, not a bot. Yeah. Now, guys. Now, guys, again on Twitter. Why are you calling me a bot for? I'm a human, not a bot. Please stop calling me that. I hate that. Okay, this is stupid, guys. Call me a bot. I hate that. You're just falsely accusing by believing Christian for calling me a bot. Okay? Please. I'm a human, not a bot. And I am a Christian, and I make videos about the Bible, but I'm also a Republican too. So that's why. You see? And I also play computer games too, like Unreal Gold and Unreal Tournament. Now, I don't know why you guys the point about this. So, please. I'm a human, not a bot. Please stop calling me that. Okay? I'm getting tired of being called a bot. Well, I'm not. Anyways. Anyway, you got the Save America Act and voter ID, so. Anyway, so, but anyway, yeah, you're wrong about the Save America Act. It won't ban mail-in voting. I just Google. I just search it right now. It won't do it. So no, you're wrong about that. Okay. So Proposition 9 would be voter ID on state elections in California. But the Save America Act will require voter ID. So let me tell you something. So voter ID for Prop 39, it will require your ID. You require your voter ID you require your ID to vote in state elections in California. But the Save America Act will require your photo ID. You require your ID to vote in federal elections. So yes. And I mean to talk about why does Steve Hilton support voter ID? Now, I don't know about Steve Hilton, but I'm talking to see if he will win this November, but I'm talking about he will defend voter ID. Here, Steve advocates a voter ID, primary speed of vote counting, and restore counts on the elections so rather than fraud. He argues that implement ID requirements would eliminate the time to signature for mail-in ballots. Rides quickly and in its biggest to be a inspire faith border of the overburdened bureaucracy. He aligns with Republican Mac ballot opinion in November, require introducing the person and voter ID of the Senate. Hilton has the yellow precedent at the event of the Federal Save America Act, pushed by Donald Trump, who has endorsed his campaign, while the critics argue the great delays discontent elected voters. Hilton contends the critics stops like mailing ballots and have a registered voter and counting those received election day. Now Hilton has extremity of the scene of voter fraud in California. The U.S. Attorney Bill at SC has found the cause of the federal intervention. Instead, requires cities in the dogged Orange County at Federal District of 2021 illustrated Semitic Lexity and the religious revised cures of changing the owner. His campaign postulates of these reforms mobilize Republican turnout and appeal independence, frustration with states' direction. So that's what it is. He will defend voter ID. That's why I believe you should vote for him, and also vote for Michael Gates for California Attorney General, if you want voter ID to be defended. So, and you want California to have voter ID. You know, it's all up to you, though. I'm just saying. That's what you would have to do if you want voter ID to be a requirement in California. And plus, the Save America Act will require ID to vote in federal elections. But we need to find out, what does Steve Hilton think? I don't know, and I don't know what Steve Hilton will think about age verification and stuff. Let me see about that. Because all he thinks about is just folder ID, but not ID age verification. And yeah, it just showed me about folder ID. Yeah, I already saw about that. Now we need to tell you something, because there's a difference between folder ID and also ID age verification. I mean ID age verification. What to say is. And yes, I know the kids I just passed the house, but the fight isn't over. The best you can do is call your senators and tell them a no vote. So. Well, folder ID is just showing your ID to vote. Well, ID age verification is just uploading your copy of your ID to the internet. Well, let me tell you something. If your ID is on the internet, it'll be there for God knows how long anyway, and that's not good. So. And here's something. I called my representative. I called my state representative, Michelle Rodriguez, for the for repeal of the Digital Age Assurance Act. He said he will. He said I'm gonna have to let it play out, but I don't know. I believe the Digital Age Assurance Act is going to cause data breaches in California. Now. Now me thinking, right? The California does not want folder ID, but they want each station on computing devices. Well, that would be. I know that would be. I know you're talking about AB 1043. I know that. But we're having voter ID too. Your ID to vote. So that's why. It's on the ballot for November. So. If that passes, you will require your ID to vote. but it won't. But yeah, it has nothing to do. But yeah, if it has nothing to do with the terrible law of the age of the station on computer devices, which is what AB 2043 is in California, the Digital Age Assurance Act. I'll get to that right now. Well, for a minute. Well, yeah, I called my state representative, Michelle Rodriguez, about it. And now, on her website, and um, okay, so Mel Rodriguez is Republican opponent right now is Rafaela Romero. Rafaela Romero, yeah, that's her. That's so. I don't know which one of these two. Will win in this November. So. I'm probably gonna be voting for Rafael Romero, but I've been calling but the one who is in it right now is Michelle Rodriguez, so that's why. Well, I've been calling her office because she's my state representative right now, but but it won't be forever unless well. Because if Rafael Romero wins and she takes office, then I might have to tell her and might ask her to repeal the Digital Age Assurance Act instead of Michelle. That's Rodriguez. That's why. So it's either one of those two, and that's why. No, I'm looking for a Assembly member. Okay, so let me see. This is the website I'm talking about here. So the 53rd district. So, yeah, I know. I talked to her about yeah, I called her about the repeal of the Data Insurance Act. But they said they said they might have to let it play out or wait until like 5 years or so. Well, I want it to be repealed. I don't want it to last forever or another like 5 years or so. That's why. Even though they told me that that law probably won't last forever. Well, I told my state representatives. That's why. And it's going to cause data breaches. That's why. So. Anyway, that's the idea. Anyway, I'll fill out this in November because the next street appear is not until January, anyways, and that's why. But, and I don't know who's going to win. It's either Michelle or Rafael Romero. We'll see. But we'll see. It's either one of those two. But right now, it's for the Save America Act. You have having full ID to vote in federal elections, and then on folder ID on Prop 39 is folder ID on state elections. So that's why. Here, so folder ID initiative, while conditional endorsement of being proposed, a folder ID requirement of future elections in California because the state and limitations and no exceptions of Prop 39 requires. See your folder ID, your folder ID to vote, and then verification of citizenship. So that's what it is. So that's what folder ID is. Yes, on Prop 39, but folder ID. And we still got, but yes, we still got to reject the agitation laws. Call your local representatives, and yes, call your senators and tell them to vote no on the Kids Act. Well, we need to reject these bad bills. We need to reject these bad federal bills here, and that's why. If you want the U.S. to become a free country once again, then let's get rid of these education laws. We need to call our local representatives and get rid of these education bills and laws, and that's why. And get rid of the ones and try to repeal the ones that already became laws. That's why. In my next video, I'm going to begin to the billionaire tax initiative. Which is Prop 40. On top of that next video, anyway. Yes, I'll get into Prop 40, the billionaire tax initiative. Next video. But here's what Prop 39 does. So right here. So for Prop 39, if you want to know, it requires folders. To represent that government actually in person to voting and they're going to sign of during registration mail voting. And require election officials of list of officials to using of data a report which is certified and the state attorney of government. Which requires findings and recommends of elections of public. See, that's what voter ID does. If you vote yes. And that's what happens if you vote no on voter ID. But yeah, we need to vote yes on voter ID. So you get right here. So yeah, tell your friends and your neighbors to vote yes on voter ID. So we can get some people speaking. So hopefully we can win. We can. So hopefully Prop 49, Prop 39 passes, and we can have we can show our ID to vote. You know, that's why. Anyway. But while showing your ID to vote, make sure to eject. Make sure to call your residents and get rid of and try to get rid of identification in the U.S. as well. Also, make sure make sure you can watch How to Go to Heaven video on Rumble or BitChute, anyways. And you have to go rights now. But thank you for watching this video. And yes, you can help. Oh yeah, and yes, you can help on more stuff. Oh yeah, it looks like news and science industry to spike sales tax 11.25 cents. This is for this past Prop 43. Now I'll get into Prop 43 some other video too, talking about tax hikes anyway, and also stating Prop 13 as well, which I'll get to that too. Anyway, I have to go right now. But thank you for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed. Say goodbye. Adios and Zaijian.